Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good call, and welcome to the madness that is the Charlie Marx Show. I'm Charlie Marx, and I often wonder who regulates the regulator's regulator. A thought for the righteous indeed. I mean, there are us way down at the bottom of the ladder, and then there are the suits, those on every other rung above us. Sure, we may need further ruling, but where does it stop? And does this ladder have a top rung? And if so, what happens after the top rung? It's like the age-old question of who was God's parents, and was he allowed 5 minutes more when he was called in for his bath? What happens when the person right at the top of the ladder gets it wrong? Us, the ones trying to reach up to the first rung, have nowhere else to go. You hear people say when they need more that they will go to the highest court in the land. Is there a highest court in the land? Or is it just a court on top of a very large hill? And then there's the very fashionable saying, especially when a doctor tells you something you don't want to hear, I want a second opinion. How many opinions can I have? And will the other opinions say something different? What happens when we get 1,000,000 opinions and our 1,001st opinion tells us something different? Do we disregard the first 1,000,000 opinions because we prefer the last one? It's like when we're playing a game and we want another shot because the first shot seemed unfair or to our disliking. So we take that second shot and it's worse. Can we, in life practices, go back to the initial not so bad shot? Back to the ladder of regulators. Where did they get it? Was it from Temu, B&Q, or did they have to order it specially built? Perhaps we will never know. If you're enjoying the Charlie Marx Show, or even if you're not, then please like, subscribe, ring the old bell for notifications and follow the Charlie Marx Show. Also, please share, as sharing is daring. You can also leave me a comment or tell me what's bugging you in the world with the Devil's Advocate. I can also be spied upon by you visiting www.charliemarx.co.uk, or you can buy me a virtual coffee. Coming up on tonight's show, we have all the usual psychotic behaviour, plus some other stuff. But before all the insanity which is the Charlie Marx Show, it's time for more stories from the old bloke in the home.
Hello again, I'm Rupert, the old bloke in the home, and it's time for another story from my life. Now, where was I? Oh yes, that's right, I was here. When I was in my 30s, I decided that I was at the age where I couldn't act like a silly boy anymore, and I was too young to be a silly old man, so I decided to wear women's clothing and change my name to Florence. Now don't forget, these were in the days where it wasn't fashionable to change who you are, so there were some prejudices which were just simply awful. The first time I came up against one of these prejudices was when I tried to get on a bus and the driver said I could not travel with him. It was incredibly sad, and his excuse of the bus being broken down just didn't cut it with me. I thought things were going to be difficult as Florence, but surprisingly my life actually got better. I got a job in the typing pool as a secretary of the Secret Service for a department that sold fake beards to spies. I got on well with the other girls in the typing pool, but was sadly let go by my boss as I took too many days off when it was my time of the month. I left there and got a job as a backing singer for Barry Manilow, but I got injured when he turned around too quickly to face me during a concert, and I was thrown across the stage. Towards the end of my 30s, I met a very nice gentleman called Herbert, and we were married only a week after. I know it sounds like a rush wedding, but I was already 3 days pregnant, and there was no way I was going to be a single mother. You see, the stigma was bad for pregnant women who were not married, but give Herbert his due. he did the right thing and we got married. A few weeks later, I gave birth to a beautiful baby boy who we called Elizabeth. But happiness was not to be, as the following day we lost the baby. These hospitals are far too big. And how can you possibly keep track of something that small? Herbert and I did try to have more children, but it was not to be, so he got a goldfish. Tensions rose up between us as I foolishly, and probably through jealousy, couldn't stand how much attention he was paying to that damn fish. So we separated and finally divorced the following Thursday. It was at that point I decided not to be Florence anymore and went back to being Rupert. Then, actually I think we'll leave that story until next time. Goodbye.
More false memories from the old codger in the home next time. But now it's time to catch up with all the latest fake news from around the world and beyond with CM News.
Good evening and welcome to CM News with me, Lana Del Rey. Our top story this evening. A brown man was in court after threatening women in a bakery. The brown man, individual who can't be named because it's a big strange name, burst into the bakery holding a large piece of material threatening the shop workers. The incident was calmly resolved with nobody injured, and police have removed the piece of material from the assailant. He has been charged with being a Muslim fundamentalist. A dog called Rover, who had the amazing talent of visiting an old folks' home and then after sitting beside a pensioner would leave and the pensioner would be dead the following morning. The residents of the home have tried everything legally possible to put an injunction out on the dog to stop it visiting, but the owner of the home rejected all requests for a ban on the dog as they needed the beds. A pensioner father of 3 was in court yesterday after his daughters had him arrested for driving dangerously. The pensioner had been recklessly driving at 6 miles an hour without due care to pedestrians. Defense attorney for the pensioner said that the electric mobility scooter was bought second-hand from a reputable conman on Gumtree, and he did not use his daughter's inheritance money for this. After the daughters gave evidence against the father, he broke down, with the judge saying, "Well, that's what you get for buying a second-hand scooter." Scientists have discovered that there is a specific gene which causes teenagers to act disrespectfully and cause them to be the way teenagers are. The symptoms are refusing to get out of bed, speaking in mumbles, cheek, self-absorption, and moodiness. Scientists have called the new finding a disease and called it lazy. They've called it something. And finally, Lulu, the oldest gorilla in captivity, was finally released back into the wild, only to return to captivity the following day. The reason she gave was that because the government had cut her benefits, she could not afford her flat. This is Lana Del Rey for CM News. Good night.
Thank you, Lana. More from the CM Newsroom next time. Now it's competition time, and boy do we have a prize for you today. This is absolutely amazing and you will love it. You could pay off your mortgage, or you could even pay off 2 mortgages, because we have cash. Lots and lots of cash to give away. And it's all genuine. Look at the size. Now, in order to win this, you have to answer this question in the comments below. Queen guitarist Brian May loves badgers, But how many stars are there in the universe? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Just put your answer in the comments below and you could win this. Now, in order to collect this prize, like I say, all you have to do is put it in the comments below and do that. Make it nice. So, what I'm also going to say to you is, next time the prize is going to be even better than this millions. The prize is the piece of ear that was shot off and it belongs to Donald Trump. That's right, we have it. It's a bit squishy, but we have it. Now, time for the Nosy Parker Jazz Club and the Beatnik Mind.
Hello, you cool cats. This week I has got 2 cool poems for you. The first one is called Slavery of the Female Species is Just Not the Done Thing, Dude. To market, to buy a fat pig. Home again, jiggity jig. To market, to buy a fat hog. Home again, jiggity jog. A woman, have respect for the dame. Don't buy her, don't even ask her name. A woman, they can give you an itch. So buy the pig at market and have a ham sandwich. Next poem for all you cats is titled, Brothers Should Never Fight Because It's All About the Blood from your mama and papa, not to mention DNA. Tweedledum and Tweedledee agreed to have a battle, for Tweedledum said Tweedledee had spoiled his brand new rattle. Tweedledum said Tweedledee should keep out of his things. Tweedledee said Tweedledum that he should remember that when he was talking about his girlfriend. Tweedledum punched Tweedledee and busted up his nose. Tweedledee kicked Tweedledum and stood upon his toes. Tweedledum pulled out a knife. Tweedledee pulled out a gun. Both Tweedledee and Tweedledum were not having so much fun. Tweedledum slashed Tweedledee, blood now on the knife. Tweedledee shot Tweedledum, and now he's doing 20 to life. Tweedledee is in a cell. His cellmate wants to battle. Tweedledee got his head kicked in because he stole his cellmate's rattle. Tweedledee lay in his cell and died from a loss of blood. And all because of rattles. What a total FUD. Stay cool.
And we'll be back down at the Nosy Parker Jazz Club next time. But now it's time for another roundup of moans and groans and things that go irk in the night with the Devil's Advocate. There are things that make you unhappy. There are things that make you annoyed. Then there are things that get you furious. But let's discuss the things that really boils your number ones. I'm talking, of course, about being put on hold. Now, you're never put on hold by someone or some company that is not important. For example, your grandmother would never put you on hold. Or if you owe money to someone or some bill, then equally, you will never be put on hold. But when you need something, or it's vital that you speak with someone due to a problem you have, you will be put on hold. As soon as someone on the other end of the line states that you are going to be put on hold, your day is finished. No matter if you call it 9 a.m. opening time, your day is going to be a day of sitting about waiting. You won't even have time to say to the person on the other end of the line, "Don't put me on hold!" Because as soon as they say you're going to be put on hold, you're put on hold. The people on the other end of the line are trained by Marines, and how to hover their finger over the hold button with such skillful accuracy that you don't stand a chance. And then it happens. You hear the first bars of the song that is going to be your waking day and your nightmare-filled nights. 9 times out of 10 you will not know the song, and it's been made up on the spot and does nothing to soothe your patience. The other times it will be a song that you're familiar with, and if you didn't hate it when you first heard it, you're going to hate it now. The third option is the piece of classical music that is played over and over and over again. Someone somewhere in a highly paid job came up with the notion that by playing classical music it would not only de-stress you but also calm you down. However, this only works when you are either brain dead or just dead. And just as you're sitting there feeling numb, trying desperately not to have to listen to this repetitive torturous song, the song stops and a voice announces where you are in the queue. The first time you hear this, you will never be at number 1 or even number 2. You will always be so far away. Informing you of where you are in the queue just gets your anger building further. And you know fine well that the people in the office are not dealing with other calls, but they're on a break or they're ignoring you. To some of them, it's a game to see how long they can keep you on hold until you shoot yourself. You never seem to be moving up the queue, and now you start to think that someone with a knowledge of computers has designed a system where they can jump the queue ahead of you. The anger is boiling over at this stage, and you believe that there is a conspiracy against you and your issue. Then the questions pop into your head. What if you forget the whole reason you're on the phone call, and 6 hours down the line they answer and you have to hang up feeling embarrassed? What if they're listening to you breathing heavily down the phone and are laughing at as you grow increasingly paranoid? What if there never was a company you had to phone and you're just plain mental? You soon face facts that you are well and truly trapped, and there's nothing you can do about it but hang up. But what's the point of that? You know if you're going to hang up, you're going to have to go through the whole thing again. Whilst you're waiting, you can do absolutely nothing. You try and put the phone on loudspeaker, but every time the voice comes on telling you where you are in the queue, you almost have a heart attack trying to take the phone off loudspeaker. You can't go to the bathroom because you know they will answer whilst you're in mid-flow, or worse, splashing. You start to get hungry and wish you prepared a snack before you started dialing, but it's too late now, and there's a chance that you will starve to death. And the only way out of it is if Bob Geldof does a concert on your behalf. You then panic that your phone will run out of battery and you can't find the charging cable because you threw it at the dog when she barked to get out at 5 a.m. and it's lodged somewhere dark or buried under last night's clothing that you know you should have placed neatly on the chair. All these thoughts are swimming around your head, and you say to yourself that when the person answers, you're going to go mental at them, saying that they should be ashamed of themselves for putting you under that much strain. But you know deep down in your soul that you won't say a thing. Finally, after what seems like days, you hear the voice saying you are first in the queue, and then there's silence. You go to say something, but know within your heart of hearts that you've just been cut off. This is why people kill, my friends. This is why. Thank you for watching the Charlie Marx Show, and remember to like, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications, share and follow me on www.charliemarx.co.uk. You can also buy me a virtual coffee or join me on the channel for more and more and much more. So until next time, if you're not subscribed to the Charlie Marx Show, I'm just going to have to put you in hold.